My guest today is Mr. Sam Huber. I am so excited to have Sam on the show. We have been trying to get to this point for quite a while. Sam wrote an amazing blog article for Mind Your Autistic Brain back earlier in the year. And you guys, I'm going to make sure I link it so you can go read it because it was a fantastic article. And I just love Sam's heart so much. He has an amazing Instagram account, Huber Family Adventures. Sam is joining us today, and since this is the month of gratitude and acknowledgement, we're going to be talking about what it is to be grateful, what it is to be a parent, and the power of acknowledgement in our lives. Hi, I'm Carole Jean, founder and host of Mind Your Autistic Brain, and you are about to experience the new way to thrive in life and relationships as a late identified autistic. By unveiling who you are, what you love, finding your balance, and being the leader and creator of your best life. Get ready, because this is where we go against the mainstream. Say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to who we are in order to create a joy-filled, balanced, and more neurodistinct world. Welcome to Mind Your Autistic Brain. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Carole. It's been a long time coming.
We're working on it. Finally, all the stars aligned, right? It's the perfect time because you are expecting your second son next week, Isaac. And I'm so thrilled for you and Gisette.
Thank you. Yeah, we're pretty excited too. And I've done a lot of stim dancing off of it, so I'm ready.
You're definitely ready. Well, what about Sky? How's Sky? I know he's probably ready, or he's not quite sure. Which one is he?
Like, he understands a baby's coming, and sometimes we think he understands that there's a baby inside mommy, but like we don't. It's not clear if he has his head fully wrapped around it. But we got him like baby toys to practice on. Sometimes he's very nurturing with them. Other times he's very rough with them. Like, it's like
Yep. As a mom of two boys, and mine are 28 months apart. So I remember very clearly when I had Gray Caston and then Dryden's coming along, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna have a little brother, and the whole conversation. And sometimes it's just like, okay, there's a new baby, there's something there. And other times it's just like totally oblivious to the fact that there's a whole nother kid in the house. It's just like, hey mom, let's just do what we're used to doing. So Sam, tell us or share a little bit about your autism journey with us. I know that you're not late identified, you knew earlier on, but we'd love to know a little bit more about your story and your journey.
Well, my journey is a lifelong one, but I didn't know that until I was 14 when I got diagnosed with Asperger's. I know that's no longer in the DSM, blah, 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 but I had learned about my autism at that point. It just gave a name to, this is why I think this way. This is why I'm a black and white thinker. So literal, and it gave me a jumping off point to actually grow and actually learn to start understanding people rather than just, this is just never going to happen. And then I reached college. College was a huge point because I was 2 hours away from my parents, so they didn't jump in and do social situations for me. Like, they would advocate for me, like, Sam doesn't understand sarcasm. Like, no, like I had to, through trial and error, learn to be social. And I realized, holy crap, no one at 18 knows who the heck they are. It's not just autistic people.
Thank God for normalizing that one, right?
Yeah, college definitely does it. No one knows how to do laundry or boil an egg. I'm not the only one. Like, these kids don't have life skills, neither do I. And then it's through that I realized people only have a problem with my autism if I have a problem with them. If I'm acting like it's this big ugly monster, then people are going to look at me like a big ugly monster. And
Sam, can we just stop right there for a second? You just said something really, really huge.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else is going to have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
That really is one of the big perspective shifts. That's one of those big lens changes, especially for those of us in late identified life who've like struggled for so long and everything just felt like nothing made sense. And, we got all this baggage and the stuff that goes on. And to get to that point where it's like somebody hands you this piece of paper, or you do some research and some things start to align, and it's like all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I'm autistic. Okay. And then you're like, okay, this is what it means to me, because everybody has their own experience of what being autistic is. And then getting to that point of, because you kind of go through that first processing phase, and then you get to this point of acceptance and you're like, this is me. This is who I am. I'm autistic. This is how I experience the world. And when we get to that point where we're accepting that, and we're just embracing, and we don't have a problem with it. It's like, yeah, this is just it. This is me. This is how I show up in the world. That really does. That energy, that way that we show up from that point forward really does make a difference. Because if I don't have a problem with it, well, who are you to have a problem with it, right?
Right, exactly. Because the thing I learned to realize is that people, as much as we're taught to read other people's body language, and like other people are already doing that. So if we're losing our mind over sensory overload or whatever, but if someone sees us have sensory overload, but then we advocate like, guys, I need a minute, and they see you calm yourself down, like, okay, and everyone has their minute. Everyone flips out over something. Normal people like lose their minds over their coffee being too hot or too cold, or but they learn to calm themselves down. And it's the same thing. It's just like how you react is how other people will react to you. And the other huge measuring stick that I got was I worked in a school for close to 10 years with autistic kids from one end of the spectrum to the other, and it made me realize that everyone has their own journey. There's no one type of autism, like there's an infinite kind. And then it got me to my philosophy that autism should be classified as amplified humanity. Like, it amplifies your personality to the 10th degree, that it makes you just more authentically you, which is when it came down to it, I realized that all the unwritten social rules prevent you from being yourself, if you think about it in black and white terms. So like, let me really just try to find a way to really be myself, and let that be my way to fit into this world. And some people will like me, some people won't. It's the same deal God has dealt everybody. And autism has nothing to do with whether people will like me or dislike me. It's my decision of how I react to them and behave.
Oh, that is so powerful. I mean, that's in the intro to this show. We go against societal norms. Here in Mind Your
Right.
Autistic Brain, we are going against the societal norms because that really doesn't serve humanity. This is about elevating all neurotypes so that we're doing something that is energizing and connecting all of us, because we are all part of humanity, and how we treat one another, how we view and perceive one another, how we show up in the world for ourselves and for the next generation. And I love that, because I think that kind of transitions into our family conversation today. Because Sam, you have Sky, and Sky's 3, 4?
4.
4.
4.
I remembered he had a birthday, because I remember seeing his picture. So I was like, oh, it's between 3 and 4. And, I love it because there's so many things that you write about in just your experience of being a dad, how you are modeling and mentoring, just like any other dad. Like my dad today, I put out a post today as the part of the 20 days of acknowledgement about my dad and the impact that he had in my life, because our dads do have a huge impact in our life. And a dad doesn't mean that it has to be your blood related biological dad. Sometimes we've got dads that show up in our life as a blessing, and it might be our uncle, it might be our neighbor, but that's the person who plays that really powerful role in our life. And I love how you share your journey and how you do that with Sky. Tell us a little bit about this process of being a dad, and how you're viewing that, and how gratitude and acknowledgement play into that aspect of parenting for you.
I think the biggest aspect, the first thing I'm always grateful is Sky never ask me to be anything but myself. The other big part is that my autism actually makes me a great dad, because the stereotype of dads is that they're emotionally distant. They don't cry. They cry, they're weak. Like, I've cried in front of my son. I've expressed big emotions, because God gifted me with autism, which makes my emotions amplify. It's very hard for me to not express it. When autistic people express emotion, we move our whole bodies. So like, my son knows something's up. Dad's jerking his whole body around, and he'll come up to me and, Dad, it's okay, be happy. And like the fact that he shows empathy, like I was like, growing up as an autistic person, it was we don't have, autistic people don't have empathy. I'm like, we have so much, and like, because every time he is feeling something, I show empathy, he shows it right back. So I'm like, it just shows. I'm just so grateful that he shows me that I am perfectly human. And even when I screw up, he's like, "That's okay, Daddy. Try again."
Oh God, if all people would just embrace that, it's okay, try again. That's
Right.
beautiful. I mean, seriously, oh, Sky is just wise beyond his years.
No, he definitely is, and that's the huge thing that I'm grateful for. Like, kids really teach you have to really listen to them, and for autistic people like myself who have auditory processing issues, that isn't always easy. Like, I always describe it to my wife as like, the adults in Charlie Brown when they talk, the wah wah, and it's not that I'm trying to ignore you, but sometimes sound doesn't come through. So like, with kids, they're very patient with you. They think you're being silly when you're struggling, and they don't shame you for asking them to repeat themselves. And that's the big thing I've discovered being a dad, is I get to keep trying again. And then my son's going to grow up thinking autism is just this normal thing, like not this boogeyman, or like neurodiversity is just part of his everyday. And like, when people ask, how do you end the stigma? Like, this is how you do it. You treat yourself like a normal person. You have your ups, your downs, and that's what our children see, and that's how they treat you. You treat them. And that's the big thing I'm grateful for being a dad. It's a constant reminder that we're all human and we're all growing, because like, he grows so fast and learns so fast. But some things, it takes him a little longer. Like Daddy, that takes Dad longer to learn how to listen to Mommy sometimes, and that's okay.
Oh, I love that. So as we're moving into the week before Isaac's arrival, what are some things, because that tends to be something we kind of do this time of year in November in the United States, as we reflect on what we're thankful and grateful for, but then we also start to look forward, because we're getting to the end of the year, so we kind of look on like, what has my year been? What has happened this year? And sort of, what am I doing moving forward into my new year? So you're getting this beautiful gift right here in the grateful gratitude month, also moving into a whole new year, starting a new phase of your life
Mm-hmm.
with two little boys in tow. So as you're reflecting on, just your life, as Sam, the individual, and then your life as Sam, the dad and the husband, what are some things that you're looking forward to in this new year with this new season of life?
I'm looking forward to just being with my family. My job's giving me 6 weeks of parental leave, so I get to really be there with Isaac when he's born, and connecting with him, helping Sky adjust to this transition. Because like, again, another blessing of being autistic is we know how hard transitions can be. So I already have a buttload of empathy for Sky when he goes through this transition, and like, transitions aren't a bad thing, son. I know what to say to him thanks to my own life experiences. And I'm just looking forward to seeing how God sets me up to be a great dad and learn and grow. Because I'm a firm believer that God only gives us what we can handle, and that means my second son's coming in. I can handle this. And after a lifetime of being told you can't handle anything, it's nice to have that feeling, oh, yes, I can.
Oh, Sam, I love that. I think that's one of the things that is the most empowering part of being a parent and also just in that late identified life. And also, if you've known for a while, but it's something that, somewhere in the back of your mind or somewhere somebody along the way said, you can't really do that, or you shouldn't do that, or, maybe that's not possible for you. But that's the thing that sort of is the reminder, that with God, all things are possible. And nothing is in our life that we're not prepared and ready for. It wouldn't have shown up in our world when it did if we weren't ready to take it on.
Exactly. And you were ready to take on autism, and God wanted you to know you had it when He wanted you to know.
Yep.
And
If
there
I
are
was
just
supposed to
plenty of
know when I
autistic
was
people out there.
younger, I'd have known when I was younger, but I was 39. That's when I was ready for it, right?
Exactly. My dad's 68, never been fished that I knows, but he became a well-known writer, and he figured it out, and it's pretty obvious he's one of us, and you always find out in your own time. And that's what, if you find out when you're two, you'll still make it as an adult. And that's the thing to be grateful for, that you've made it this far, because we hear a lot of can't and being autistic people, but it's when we become adults we start hearing you can, because we're the ones telling ourselves you can do this. And that's why, when you see those things like, may autistic people should be parents, you should, because it forces you to say, I can do this, and it gives you so much strength as an autistic person. I don't know for neurotypical parents who post about how tired they are, it gives me so much to do, getting up, making sure my son's clothes for school, he's fed, we're very task oriented. It just keeps me moving. For autistic people, it's what keeps us energized. Tasks. You have something for me to do? Well, sign me up.
Oh, I love that. So the question that I've been asking all my guests this month to wrap it up is, what are you grateful for? Who is it in your life right now that you'd like to acknowledge and extend your gratitude and thankfulness to?
Um, I think for first and foremost, Jesus, because I found Him last year, and He made me realize there's just nothing to forgive in myself. You've already been forgiven, so I can move forward in my life and keep progressing. That the bullies and all the crap I went through as a child, it doesn't matter, because I've been forgiven for my mistakes. I want to give gratitude to my wife, who carried both our boys, and just did is always just from day one seeing me as Sam, not autism, because I've been in so many relationships where a girl would look up what autism is, and then she would freak out, and that would end the relationship. With her, she just looked at me with her New York attitude, I've seen stranger, and has loved me every moment of our relationship. So, honey, if you're listening to this, thank you for putting up with my nonsense and always believing in me and seeing the real me. I'm going to show gratitude to my sons, who, just continue to show me that, I'm a superhero, stimming and all. I want to show gratitude to all my followers, to you, Carole, for giving me a chance to run my big mouth. And I'm just grateful to all of humanity that we're all alive, and even though we live in this really scary time with COVID and all that stuff, we're just look for the angels in the mist, and realize that we've come together in so many ways that we haven't in so long. And I hope that everyone out there just sees a bit of kindness this Thanksgiving, this month, and hold on to that, no matter what comes out in the news next.
Oh, I love that, Sam. Guys, if you're looking for an infusion of service and gratitude and inspiration in your day and you're on Instagram, go give Sam a follow. Take a few minutes and just journey along with him, and especially coming up because you're going to get to hear all about this new big transition in his life as Isaac arrives. Thank you so much for being here, Sam. Thank you for sharing your gratitude, your acknowledgement, and your autism journey with us.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. Yep, folks, there are going to be a lot of pictures of Isaac, and I'll be leading you guys through what I'm experiencing, from the hospital to those sleepless nights. Message me if you have any questions. I'm happy to pray for you, share tips. I'm an open book. Just message me and let's get talking.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me on the show today, Sam, and thanks for talking with me. We'll see you guys next week. You're going to get a special treat. I got my friend Joe Cox coming on the show. Y'all, he has the most amazing YouTube channel, and Joe is going to be sharing some really great gratitude and acknowledgement moments with us. So check us out next week. See you soon. Bye-bye.
If you are someone who likes to help people and share what has made a difference in your life, please share this talk show with a friend and on your social media accounts so that you can be the blessing in another late identified autistic's life. Be sure to tag me at Social Autie so I can personally say thank you. And to help keep the talk show ad-free, please consider becoming a one-time or recurring supporter through either Buy Me a Coffee or the Anchor podcast links in the show notes below. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for adding your voice to our story.